Hello, my name is Edwin Rutsch, and I'm the director of the Empathy Center located here in beautiful Santa Barbara, California. The center's mission is to build the empathy movement and to raise the level of empathy in society through education and community building initiatives.
And my name is Anita Nowak. I teach at McGill University, and I'm the author of Purposeful Empathy, a book that invites readers to turn up the volume of empathy in their lives.
And at the beginning of 2024, Anita and I co-hosted the Empathy Summit, brought to you by the Empathy Center, and more than 40 authors of books about empathy participated.
They shared what their book was about, why they were motivated to write it, and what they hope readers will take away. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you'll buy their book. It's now my pleasure to introduce Amy Wilson, who is a trusted transformation facilitator, redesigner for justice, and keynote speaker. She's passionate about co-creating the future of work and has also created a Healing for Work guide. Amy's the author of Empathy for Change: How to Create a More Understanding World. Welcome, Amy.
Hey, Dr. Novak. And so many people, I'm just like so excited to be here and to be sharing the stage with so many amazing humans. So I appreciate being here and talking about the work that I've been doing. So what I've noticed is that a new world is emerging, that a world that is open and collaborative, participatory and peer-driven. And a lot of this work is made by many different hands, and it's also centered on equity. But we're also experiencing some serious denial and resistance to change from those who have power, because that involves a little bit of letting go of the past and giving over to this future system that we're designing. It involves giving up one's power, some control, and resources for this new pattern that is emerging. And this is something I know firsthand because 5 years ago, I left the space, but I co-created a shared language for public sector innovation and a movement called the Better Government Movement. And that was all that part about the movement was built during the Trump administration. And at the time I was standing up a center of excellence, working to help evolve government agencies into the 21st century. And during that time, I heard this phrase, and it said, "You work for me and you work for this president." So these are the last words that a White House official said to me before he ordered innovation.gov, the website that we had been co-creating, been taken down, and the Better Government Movement to cease operations, a movement of 5,000 people. So that was nearly 5 years ago. So since then, I've really licked my wounds and I've healed. And part of this healing process involved my writing this book, which I see as a creative reaction to the ego, the resistance, and the destruction that existed, and is the pushback that's happening. And during my recovery, I researched and I spoke to lots of different people and organizations who are designing this new world to help them uncover what made them successful, like while also exploring my own story of this movement, why it resonated with so many, and what is happening in the world that is shutting this narrative of empathy down, empathy and compassion. And also I have to do the shout out to Dr. Orloff. I'm an empath, a highly sensitive person, and empathy is my biggest strength. And so a little bit of a spoiler alert, but I started tapping into that wisdom that's within. And what I've also recognized is, and through this work, is to go within, but also I published 3 years ago, Empathy for Change: How to Create a More Understanding World. I have the book right here. And I give readers language and frameworks to help evolve themselves as individuals, but then there are organizations in this emerging world. So I think of it as a guidebook for anybody who understands the resistance that we're experiencing and who wants to change the dialogue and reimagine the better way forward. And one thing I know is true, like since the pandemic, we all feel this viscerally. I think many people on the call would feel this, is that many organizations and people want a culture steeped in well-being, with empathy, with community, but they don't know where to start. And so what I define in my book is that if empathy is feeling with someone instead of for them, we also must design a world with each other and not for them. So it requires us to share power, allow others to be actors in their life, and instead of being reactors, reacting to what's around them. And so at the end of my book, there's an empathy and action framework, which provides a roadmap for you to co-design what this culture might be within an organization to build, at the end of the day, a movement of change, not mandated from the top. What I've done since then, since the 3 years, almost 3 years to the day, I published my book. I've been working and co-creating cultures and systems built on empathy and innovation. Kind of think of that as a Venn diagram. And so at the center of this Venn diagram is personal and organizational transformation, and also context, so that we can understand where we need to go and where we are right now. So there's some things that I know are really true in this world, is that a modern workplace, like many of you have already said and talked about, and the people within these workplaces do these three things really well, which requires empathy at the end of the day. Number one, they understand challenges. They understand the challenges that are existing in the world, in their organization, and they commit to meeting the needs of employees and customers out there. Number two, you get to design and lead without ego. So they develop and co-create products, programs, and services that meet customer needs, but also employee needs. And then the third piece is delivering excellence. So that means top-notch and equitable services, programs, and products out there in the world. So the work that I do allows us to bring in all of these things are at the end of the day with the workplace, but it allows us to bring empathy into the equation and efficiency there, right? With all the data that we've been sharing, I don't need to share all that extra data on top of that. But at the end of the day, when I think about this world that I'm building, and what I hope that you take away from the book, is no matter where you are, that you can change. And by evolving yourself and changing, the world around you has already changed. And it really does start with us. And when you build that empathy and compassion within yourself, it does ripple outward. And we build better relationships. We ultimately, over time, shift the system. And the system that I hope will be able to seed power and work towards that equitable future that is emerging. So where I'm at now is 3 years after my book was published. I've added more clarity to my mission, which is to help coach people to overcome burnout, which is, based on my research and experience, is the main thing that is blocking us from having empathy for each other. When we're in burnout, we put our blinders on and do not see the people around us and are more selfish. So I created Healing for Work related to this. And it helps you see yourself and see the system more clearly. And then also I've evolved and created the Empathy Action Lab, which is a space where ambitious, purpose-driven change leaders and organizations can build community, or even design a movement if that's also what you want to do. So through my co-design process, I really build clarity and definition to the work. And so I support you. Got it. Support you and also help you, coach you through through this new world of co-creating instead of always knowing the answer. It's a lot of ambiguity in that with too. So those are the things that I've landed on 3 years after the book is launched. And, I feel like there's another book in me somewhere along the line. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and my book, and I hope you get to engage with me more. I'll put my contact information in the chat if anybody wants to talk more and get copies of my books. I think I emailed someone about it yesterday, but I don't know if it got through. So yeah, looking forward to engaging with all of you. And thank you for having me, Anita and Edwin.
Thank you so much, Amy. You've got a couple of comments in the chat box from people who have read your book saying how great it is. So savor that.